Eulogy by the Honorable Bienvenido M. Abante Jr., Representative of the 6th Legislative District of Manila in the 13th, 14th, 19th, and 20th Congresses.
Our dear Speaker, our chairman of the party that we belong to, with Congressman Acop, my dear colleagues, and the loved ones of our dear Congressman, at lahat po sa ating mga kababayan. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. I only had a brief close encounter with Congressman Acop during the Quadcom hearings. And I begin to realize that now that he is gone, I felt like I'm left alone. If ever again we're going to have the Quadcom hearings. Ako na lang po, isa po ako sa naiiwang veterano na congressman dito. Kasama ko si Congressman Alvarez, ayan, mas matanda sa akin yan. At wala na rin si Congressman Base Barbers, wala na si Congressman Dan Fernandez, wala na si Congressman Carapaduano. Alright. Ako na lang po naiiwan. Kaya ako po palaging tinitira, sila hindi na masyado. Alright. Pero alam nyo, mamimiss po namin talaga si Congressman Acop. Malungkot po kami lahat because of what happened. But in Micah, the book of Micah in the Old Testament, chapter 6 and verse number 8, the Lord tells us, and I quote, "He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God." End of quote. We gathered today with heavy hearts, but also with deep gratitude, as we remembered the life, service, and courage of our colleague and friend, Congressman Romy Acop, of the 2nd District of Antipolo. I remember him always inviting me to play golf with him in Antipolo, but I wasn't able to, you know. Before he got sick, I told him, we're going to play golf. Well, I guess we have to play golf up in heaven after so many months. Diba? Scripture, what I read today, reminds us that a good life is not measured by power or position, but by justice, mercy, and humility. These are not abstract virtues. They are lived out in difficult choices, tested in moments of pressure, and proven when doing what is right comes at a personal cost. This is how I remember Romeo Acop. To many, he was a legislator, a former police general, and a public servant with decades of experience under his belt. To us, especially those of us in the Quad Committee, he was a principled partner, a steady presence, and a man who never forgot why we were there. In our pursuit of truth and accountability, Representative Acop consistently stood on the side of justice. He never treated our hearings as mere political exercises or procedural obligations. He understood that behind every testimony and every record were real people, victims whose voices we were duty-bound to hear and whose dignity we were sworn to uphold. In the most crucial moments of our hearings, he displayed courage, clarity, and conviction. He was firm when firmness was required, and fair when fairness was needed. He listened carefully, weighed evidence thoughtfully, and spoke with purpose. He believed deeply that public office is a trust, one that must always be exercised with integrity and with respect for human rights. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that, and I quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." End of quote. But that arc does not bend by itself. It bends because of the courage and conscience of upright men and women who are willing to stand for what is right, who are willing to fight for what is just. Kasama po dito si Representative Romeo Acop. He was feared by those who had something to hide because he could not be intimidated and would not look the other way. He was respected by us, his colleagues, because he did his homework, spoke with authority, and stood by his beliefs. And he was loved by those who worked closely with him, because beneath the sometimes harsh exterior was a man guided by a genuine concern for our people. This we cannot deny. Representative Acop did not seek to dominate a room, but when he spoke, people listened. What set our dear colleague apart was not the volume of his voice, nor the spectacle he made, but his reliable steadiness. In an environment where it is often easier to yield to the politics of convenience, he chose principle. He stood up for accountability, not for recognition, but because it was the right thing to do. His commitment to justice was quiet, consistent, and steadfast. To his family, we recognize that behind the public servant was a husband, a father, and a loved one whose sacrifices were shared at home. We honor not only his service to the nation, but also the love and support that sustained him throughout his years in public life. To his constituents, you entrusted him with your voice and your confidence. He served you, tulad po na nabanggit ni Congressman Ronnie Puno, with seriousness of purpose and fidelity to his oath. And to us, his colleagues, he leaves behind an example, a reminder that even in the most difficult and contentious work, it is possible to act with dignity, conscience, and faith. We honor Representative Romeo Acop not only by remembering him, but by continuing the work he believed in, the pursuit of truth, the defense of human dignity, and the conviction that justice, though hard fought, is always worth fighting for. Our deepest sympathies go to his family, his loved ones, at ang kanyang mga kababayan sa Antipolo. May we honor his memory by remaining faithful to the principles he lived and served by. Maraming salamat po. Paalam, my good friend. Thank you.